Hello and welcome to the News Hub. I'm Jeff Rogo. A bipartisan group of senators has pushed forth a plan to comprehensively overhaul U.S. immigration policy. Joining us from Washington, D.C. is our bureau chief, Jerry Seib, to discuss this plan. Thank you so much for joining us, Jerry.
Sure, happy to be here.
So, Jerry, we have this plan that came through over the course of today. We have senators from John McCain of Arizona to Chuck Schumer of here in New York pushing forward a plan to potentially overhaul all of immigration policy in the U.S. What is this plan that we're looking at as it stands now?
Well, you know, it's more a framework than a plan. It's pretty vague, but it's important because it's the first big bipartisan step in this direction in years, and an environment in which it'll probably happen. But what they really did, this is a group of 6 senators from each party. They laid out principles, really, and there's going to have to be legislative language, and some of the devil will be in the details. But essentially they are saying, let's secure the border, let's have a better employer verification system to show that employers are hiring legal workers, not illegal workers. And once we have done that, then we will talk about a path. We will create a path to citizenship for the 11 million or so illegal aliens who are already here. They'll have to go through a long process, getting green cards and waiting in line and so forth, but they can get a path to citizenship. They don't have to leave. And then we'll talk about creating a more sane, regular immigration system in which presumably there will be more immigrants, and particularly more immigrants who have education in science, math, and technology. That's a high priority. And then some provisions for employers to get temporary, or at least this is implied in the language, temporary workers for, say, for example, agriculture businesses. So those are the principles. It's not really a bill yet, and we'll see how long it takes to get from principles to reality.
I mean, for some Washington watchers, this is particularly interesting given if you looked at the comments from the right in the lead up to this, you would think that any plan that put forward a path to immigration for people who had broken the law to be in the United States wouldn't be on the table. This is a reversal from that. Where does that stand given the potential for this to then have to go through the House to get approval?
Well, for starters, it's not clear this can pass the House. It'll probably have enough support in the Senate, and you have 3 fairly important Republican senators behind it, including Marco Rubio, who's going to run for president, and John McCain, who was the party's nominee for president, and Lindsey Graham, who's kind of an important player in the Republican caucus. So they're all behind this. But in the House, this idea of creating a path to citizenship, which some Republican conservatives will call amnesty, is going to be problematic. It's not clear you have a majority of the Republicans in the House who will fall behind that idea. And it may have to get passed, if it's going to stay in this form, with some combination of a moderate number of Republican votes and a lot of Democratic votes.
Fascinating. And then I guess the further wrinkle on this is President Obama is expected to give a speech tomorrow on immigration. How does President Obama's potential oversight or plan of his own factor into what we're seeing today?
He faces an interesting strategic question. What is his role here? If this ball is moving already, it's rolling ahead on its own, do you want to get involved in that or just let it move? There's some people who think the president needs to get involved and pick up the idea and carry it forward, maybe even have his own bill. And others who think it's better if he just stands aside. Republicans have a hard time working with President Obama. They don't like to be seen as cooperating with him in some cases. Maybe he's better off lending rhetorical support and letting people on Capitol Hill and Congress carry the ball on this.